Adriana, we always start with the lady first. News came out today, and I thought it was interesting. That's why I asked it to be one of the talking points. Is Tyrant Daboll supposedly threatened Mike Kafka and said he was going to relieve him of his play calling duties because Theo Johnson dropped the pass on third down against Philadelphia. I think this is one of the big reasons why Brian Daboll got fired. We heard all about him in Wink Martindale. What was your take on this about him threatening to remove Kafka's role there?
Well, after everything we've heard about the issues that they have had in the past with play calling, it was Kafka, then Shea Tierney got involved, and what's his name? Joe Shane's on the mic. Like, I don't know. I have said for a while that I very much got the impression that Brian Daboll was a my way or the highway type of guy. And, when you hear things like this, it's a little concerning. So I guess it's not entirely surprising. Is it a little horrifying? Yes. I just think that obviously it's not the best way to go about business, which clearly he ended up getting fired. So there's a lot of reasons for that. But I just think it's bizarre. And I think it stems from like the outbursts that we've seen from him, and all of the players who spoke to the media when they're asked about Mike Kafka, they basically all said the same thing. He's calm, cool, collected, basically the opposite of Daboll. And I think that's going to work in his favor. But so I don't think we can expect Mike Kafka to be saying any crazy stuff like that if things go wrong.
Anthony, what was your take on Brian Daboll supposedly threatening to remove him as a play caller because his tight end dropped the pass? Like that was Kafka's fault.
I think that it's just a perfect summary of what went wrong for Brian Daboll. He was a finger pointer. He blamed everybody but himself, and he loved to throw temper tantrums. You can't do that as a head coach. Maybe you get away with that as an offensive coordinator for the Bills, but once you become the head coach of the New York Giants, especially when you're under that kind of New York Giants and New York media microscope, you can't behave that way. I'm surprised that, it took this long, if that's how the behavior has been for him to get fired. I think it should have happened earlier in the year if that's how it's been, because that's toxic. That feeds into losing. That's why the New York Giants have been losing football games, is because their leader, their head coach, is finger pointing and blaming everybody else but himself. And that's pattern behavior. That's something that we've seen from him all throughout his tenure here. When things went south in 2023, he pointed the finger at Wink Martindale. When Wink Martindale left, then he pointed the finger at Daniel Jones. Then he pointed the finger at Shane Bowen. He's always pointing the finger. He pointed the finger at Mike Kafka several times, took the play calling duties away, gave them to Shea Tierney, took them over himself. Always back and forth, but never taking real accountability. It's one thing to stand up in the mic and say, oh, I got to be better. I got to execute better. But then it's another thing to actually take accountability behind closed doors, take accountability on the sidelines, and put that into practice. And I don't think that Brian Daboll ever did that. I think he thought he was a blameless victim in all this. I think he pointed his fingers and he thought everybody else was the problem. But really, when you have a guy that thinks everybody is the problem, he is the problem, and now that problem is out the door, and I am excited to see what Mike Kafka can do with this opportunity.
This portion of Giants Collective is brought to you by our good friends at Mantis Sleep. If you struggle to fall asleep or wake up too easily, this mask is made for you. The Manta Original is soft, lightweight, and comfortable enough to wear all night long. And like I said, I love my mask. It keeps me from sticking a pillow on my face. It has 100% blackout adjustable eye cups and a fully adjustable strap, which you can see there. So it fits my pinhead, which is great. With the Manta Sleep Mask, you get total blackout anywhere, anytime. The memory foam eye cups give you a pressure-free fit, and the lightweight materials make it easy to wear, even if you toss and turn. Go to mantasleep.com and get 10% off your purchase by entering the promo code NYG. And, if the Giants are really struggling, you can always watch a Giants game like this, too. They're really good for watching the Giants on Sunday. This is perfect. If you want to watch the Giants, this is a good way to watch them. You can't see anything. Trust me when I tell you. I always say a team takes on the persona or personality of its head coach. And when your head coach takes no accountability, the players aren't going to take accountability either. And when there's no accountability, there's chaos, there's failure. And that's what the Giants have been. Chris, I'll let you have the floor for a little bit because obviously your birthday last stream, so you weren't able to make the show. Give us your take, first of all, on the Brian Daboll firing and your reaction to it, and then let us know what you think about him threatening Kafka.
I couldn't help but laugh at the super chat that you're going to get to later that I just saw pop up on my screen.
Oh, gotcha.
But as far as the Brian Daboll thing, I obviously didn't have an opportunity to talk about it with you guys on Tuesday. I think the writing was on the wall. I mean, about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I said that I thought that they would wait it out throughout the totality of the year. But directly after the game, Bad Dog, I went on Twitter and said they have to fire him. And the next day they did. You had 3 catastrophic collapses in the fourth quarter. But I think the main reason why he got fired, that had a lot to do with it, of course, and some of the things that we're hearing coming out after the fact. But the way that he handled Jackson Dart. We know that Mara did not like the fact that he went to the blue tent. He ended up getting fined $100,000 for that. And then the fact that he didn't pull him off the field after he was clearly woozy after that hit. Russell Wilson came out after the game and said that he was warming up because he clearly saw that Jackson Dart wasn't 100%. And the fact that Daboll left him in the game for, I think it was 5 minutes of game time after that, if I'm not mistaken. He left him in the game after that. I think that is as big of a reason as any why John Mara decided to pull the cord before the end of the year. So I'm not surprised. We all saw the writing on the wall. I thought going into the season that I thought it was entirely possible Daboll wouldn't start the year as the coach. I thought that they may push forward with Shane and Shane would fire him to try to extend his job. The other thing that was interesting that came out of it, and I've seen people dispute this on Twitter over the last couple of days. I think Joe Shane's going to be here now for the next 2 or 3 years after seeing the statement that John Mara came out with. John Mara basically said, and maybe I'm paraphrasing a bit, and you may disagree with it. I disagree with some of what he had to say, but the way that I took it was he basically said that he thinks Joe Shane's done a good job with player evaluation, and he basically said that Joe Shane's going to be part of the coaching hire. So to me, that spells, okay, Shane's going to be here for at least another 2 years if you're bringing in another head coach. So they ended up splitting them up, and they're going to push forward with Shane. Is it the right decision? I don't know. I have doubts. This team's a disaster, and I think Joe Shane had every opportunity to fire Daboll before the year started. He elected not to do it. So I kind of side with Giants fans on this one that I kind of wanted a clean break from both of them, but it is what it is. Got to hope that Shane does a good job. But I think the Daboll thing had as much to do with his handling of Dart in terms of him being fired in season as anything else. I think he was going to get fired at the end of the year no matter what. And now we'll speculate who the coach is going to be going forward. So it was the right move. They had to do it.
What'd you think about the whole situation with Kafka?
I mean, we'll see what Kafka could do. I know Anthony said he made that point maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago that he thought that it would be valuable to see if Kafka could be a good head coach. And if you're going to fire Daboll anyway, fire him now so you get an opportunity to get a half season's worth of games with Kafka. We'll see. Do I think he'll be the head coach next year? No. I think the Giants are going to go a different route, and they're probably going to want to bring in a guy that's done it before as a head coach, whether it be at the collegiate level or the NFL level. But let's give the guy a chance. Let's see what he could do. Let's see if he could turn the team around. Maybe they win 4 out of their last 7, and the quarterback looks really good when Dart gets back in there and the team plays well. And maybe they entertain bringing them back. To me, that would feel a lot like the Ben McAdoo hire, which obviously didn't work out very well. But McAdoo, of course, was the OC, that you retained. It would kind of feel similar for me. I prefer an outsider, a new head coach, but I'll give him an opportunity over the next 7 weeks and see what he could do.